あなたの古い友達に会うように言ってください。カサブランカのボギーのように。
The film Lost in Translation, directed and written by Sofia Coppola, was released in 2003 and it revolves around three characters. Bob, played by Bill Murray, and Charlotte, played by Scarlett Johansson. Bob is a fading movie star, while Charlotte has a major lack of direction in her life. Both are isolated and have troubled relationships. The third character is the world and environment carefully crafted by Sofia Coppola through the use of Tokyo. As Bob's and Charlotte's relationship is shaped, the city presents a different colour of emotions for them. Bill Murray, who plays Bob, brings to this role a degree of lived experience, a degree of undeniable authenticity that transcends the screen and extends beyond the character. In an interview given by Murray, he recalls his immediate connection to the character upon receiving the script for the film. He stated, "I know this. I can do this." Whilst he wasn't a fading A-lister like Harris, Murray nevertheless had over 2 decades of experience working in the film industry and was no stranger to feelings of jadedness when it comes to the life of a high-profile actor. Murray continues, "I know a little bit about being a movie star, and a little bit about being a fish out of the water." The film is rooted in several respects in Coppola's own background. The setting in Tokyo was inspired by her experiences during several years of travel to the city, while her early 20s crisis is exemplified by Scarlett Johansson's character, Charlotte. The film beautifully captures the feeling of being lost in life, being surrounded by people but feeling alone at the same time. Bob and Charlotte want to make a change, but don't know how. They feel afraid of leaving their comfort zone and don't understand neither those around them nor themselves. Based on the cinematography, it is evident that the wide shots of the characters occupy a small space alone, or an extremely large space with many people who are completely unaware of their existence. Both of these things work to portray the idea that Murray's character Bob and Johansson's character Charlotte are lonely, isolated, and missing something. In the whiskey commercial filming scene, Murray manages to communicate a whole array of different emotions through the most subtle and nuanced facial expressions. We see Harris's profound sense of frustration, confusion, self-doubt, as the director repeatedly assaults him verbally about how to hold his glass of whiskey. We see his crippling disappointment that this is how low his career has sunk. This is heavy material, and it's even heavier as Murray lets us laugh at the absurdity of it all. When the translator relays a lengthy note of direction to Harris simply as
Right side
ファッションだよ。わかった？
and with intensity.
Harris responds,
Is that everything? I mean, it seemed like you said quite a bit more than that.
Bob's overall confusion in this scene acts as a metaphor about what his life is turning into. He's at a loss at what he's supposed to do next. The stage seems enormous and strange, which is magnified by how foreign Tokyo feels. He feels cut off from others. He's isolated. As a former philosophy student, Charlotte appears to have a keen intellect. She doesn't easily tolerate anyone she considers to be superficial. This includes her husband John's actress acquaintance, Kelly. Kelly is bubbly and unrestrained in her topic of conversation. Though John does not exactly seem to love her company either, he refrains from deriding her. However, Charlotte's attention is not readily available to just anyone. As her level of tolerance diminishes, her sense of isolation grows. She is lonely. Even in a place like Kyoto, where she briefly escapes to, this loneliness persists. Kyoto is noticeably calmer in atmosphere than Tokyo is. This appears to alleviate some of her anxieties. The film captures Charlotte commuting by train, watching a traditional Japanese wedding, and attaching a wish to a tree already laden with many bits of white paper. Every act of Charlotte's in this scene is done so in silence, likely to illustrate the religious profundity of this moment. However, not even the seemingly sacred Kyoto is silent. The noise of the train station, schoolgirls chatting among themselves, and the birds is captured alongside a delicate instrumental track the film provides. Kyoto may be muted, but it is alive. Only Charlotte is not quite a part of it. She is still alone. Although Bob is around many people, he still feels extremely lonely. It's a feeling that's very common, especially in this day of age. You can be surrounded by loved ones, friends, and others, but still feel alone. In one of the scenes, Bob gets approached by two of his fans who exalt his movie work, but he reacts to them with complete indifference. The film portrays loneliness as a symptom, as both Bob and Charlotte long for genuine human connection. Charlotte tries to fill that longing by taking a more active interest in her husband's career and by calling her friend. Neither of those two work, as both the husband and the friend are preoccupied by other matters. Meanwhile, Bob tries calling his wife, but she too is unreceptive as she is preoccupied by their children. After ending the call, Bob remarks,
That was a stupid idea.
both Bob and Charlotte, although 20 years younger, live in an unhappy marriage. For Bob, it's filled with mundane tasks, such as deciding on a new shelf or the colour of a new carpet. Meanwhile, Charlotte yearns for her husband John to pay attention to her. However, he is completely focused by work and is not able to offer any affection. In the film, we see repeated failures at connection due to various barriers. The most obvious one is language. In the whiskey commercial scene, Bob struggles to get directions from the director due to their language difference. But the film is much more than about the clash of cultures. Lost in Translation is far more broad and tragic in its sense of human alienation. Japanese-English miscommunication is nothing compared to Charlotte's and Bob's inability to get their spouses to understand or even listen to them. The Japanese material is a mere symbol of how little we hear or actually say to each other when we speak the same language. When John is talking to Charlotte about Japanese rock stars' clothing, she talks to him about the sweater she is knitting, showing that neither is willing to listen to one another. The sweater implies that their relationship is being knitted out of existence. Even when Bob and Charlotte use the telephone, a device that links them to people around the world, they run into problems. In one scene, Bob's conversation abruptly ends due to poor connection, while Charlotte struggles in communicating her feelings to her friend, which also ends their conversation. The two are trying to reach out, as they want to express the things that they are currently feeling, but they can't. In a scene where Bob talks to his wife about which carpet to choose, he replies to her stating that she can choose whatever she wants. As he says,
I'm completely lost.
which expresses more about his inner state of mind than just his opinion on the carpets. His wife is unreceptive to this, as she says that this is just carpets. But Bob says that this is not what he is talking about. In the pool scene, we see Bob sinking deep into the pool. He is sinking into his usual sadness, but then tries to fight for himself. He says that he would like to start eating more healthier food like the Japanese. As he says this, he rises from the pool, fighting to take charge of himself once again. But his wife is unreceptive to that, and says that he should just stay there if that's how he feels. And as a result, their conversation leads to nowhere. In their conversation, we see 25 years of conversational fatigue. When Bob is in the process of explaining his deeper pain, she is also expressing a complete lack of interest in living with him. During this scene, we see Bob sinking deep into the pool. He is sinking into his usual sadness. The theme of depression plays a prominent role in the film. Both characters, Bob and Charlotte, are deeply unhappy. This is also one of the reasons that they connect so deeply. In one part of the film, Charlotte says that she is stuck and asks Bob,
Does it get easier?
She is stuck in a marriage with no love, to a husband who has little interest in giving her even a fraction of comfort, and finds herself lost. She wants to know if the unhappiness becomes less difficult to handle. Bob shares this ailment of detachment from a loveless marriage and his work as a washed-up celebrity. This sentiment of being stuck and not knowing how to move forward is felt commonly during depression, and a person may be overcome with despondence. For her question, Bob gives two answers. He first says no, but then quickly says yes, that it gets easier. That is because there is no one answer to this question. He implies that life does not get easier, as there are always challenges and miseries that hold you down, but that it also gets easier, as those challenges and miseries are things that you go through and, at the end, seem more and more insignificant as time goes by. This shows, as desirable as it would be, the antidote to depression does not work immediately. The feeling of loneliness and detachment can never truly be absolved. There are cycles of alienation, sadness, and improvement. This is a cycle and a pattern. Getting out of depression can feel impossible because of the doubts that occur. This sadness is necessary for growth and should not be taken as an indicator that things can't change. The friendship between Bob and Charlotte helps them through their problems, or at the very least, helps them not focus on them. Lost in Translation illustrates that you never know what is right around the corner. You never know what happens next. You never know where you are heading. So, you just have to keep on going. This is a story about translation, about translating one stage of your life to another. The first meeting between Bob and Charlotte is utterly ordinary and unremarkable. They first meet in a crowded elevator, where they briefly make eye contact with each other and smile before returning to business as usual. Later, in a reversal of gender-based expectations, it is Charlotte who sends over a drink to Bob at the bar. Her forwardness likely catches him off guard, though he is visibly grateful for the kind gesture. He gives her a nod of acknowledgement, which she returns before he departs. It takes several unfinished run-ins with each other before they begin to embark on a beautiful friendship together. Lost in Translation is a film about characters failing to talk to each other and be genuinely interested in each other. This is what makes the relationship between Bob and Charlotte be so special. They are interested in each other and, at least, try to understand one another. Their conversations are not lost in translation. Unlike in their previous experiences, this is the first conversation that is easy for them and free of complication. This time, there is no language barrier, no time zone, and no interruptions. Interestingly, when they meet at the bar, the questions they ask to each other perfectly frame the issues they are currently facing. When Charlotte asks Bob what he is currently doing here, This question covers not just what Bob is doing in Japan, but what he is doing in his life. It wholly echoes with his midlife crisis. Bob, who was once a movie star, is now doing commercial work in Japan that he doesn't really like. Why is he doing that? Why is he not spending his time with his family? What led him to this place? The two questions Bob poses to Charlotte do the same to her. He asks her, "What are you doing?" and "What do you do?" These are the questions that Charlotte asks herself every night, and the truth is that she doesn't know. Interestingly, when they meet at the bar, neither of them is trying to impress each other. Bob, especially, could do this, but by this stage he doesn't care. Charlotte, although much younger and less experienced than Bob, could still try to do the same, but like Bob, she doesn't hide who she is. They are honest and open with each other. Finally, they feel that they are understood. Their relationship makes their stay in Japan much easier than before. Bob now has a reason to stay in Japan for a few more days, without it solely being for the money. Charlotte has a much more fun time with Bob when she brings him to her friends. We see Bob wearing an orange colour shirt. This signifies Bob's optimism and enthusiasm as he finally connects with someone in Japan. At the same time, orange brings to mind feelings of superficiality due to his commercial work that he has no interest in. In the party, we even see him enjoying a conversation with a Japanese partygoer, showing that the language barrier has gone away. Bob's and Charlotte's relationship helps them find fun in their position and environment. During the party, Bob sings the song More Than This.
More than this.
The song hits those untranslatable emotions you feel during travel with someone whom you likely won't see again. Although their relationship will end when Bob leaves Japan, the song shows that their memories will last forever. The narrator is hopeful and suggests that maybe he's learning not to waste time worrying about things that are out of his control. Bob's and Charlotte's relationship is based purely on an emotional need. When they lie in bed together, it is not for physical intimacy, but to connect on an emotional level that they've been missing in their current relationships. Bob tells Charlotte that he's not worried about her. This shows how deep their connection is, despite knowing each other only a few days. When Charlotte tells Bob that she got her foot banged up, he decides to bring her to a hospital. This acts as a metaphor for the effect both Bob and Charlotte have on each other. Hospitals are places where you go to heal. The relationship between them helps their mental state and makes them more happier. At the end of the film, they are better than they were at the start of it. When Bob prepares to leave Japan, he meets Charlotte for one last time and he whispers something in her ear. We don't know what he said to her, but it doesn't really matter. The content of his message is not important, but it's important in what it represents. The whisper represents their time together, which was simple, momentary, and private. We are left feeling an ambivalent mixture of feelings, but one thing is for sure. We are not worried for our protagonists. Their lives have not changed, and their initial problems of their relationships have not been resolved. Yet, a true and meaningful friendship has blossomed. And they know too that they are not alone in this world, and that there are ways in which the vigour of life can be revived. When they separate, the light turns green, showing that their moment has ended, and that they are ready to begin a new chapter in their lives. Do you like history? Do you like history documentaries? Are you interested in the less explored topics of history? Then we have some good news for you. In September of this year, Armchair History TV began its journey as a streaming service offering original content from over more than 50 creators, including us, History Experience. We have documentaries there on various historical topics, ranging from Alexander Kerensky's rule of Russia to the 1932 German presidential election. Additionally, the website has over 150 exclusive videos that are only available at the website and nowhere else. Armchair History TV works with creators outside YouTube to deliver high-quality, exclusive content on a regular basis. The website also hosts an exclusive podcast, where the creator of the website, the YouTube armchair historian Griffin M. Johnson, does interviews with content creators and other people who work for the website. We strongly encourage you to take a look at them, as they are immensely and extraordinarily insightful conversations. If you join the website, you will also gain access to a Discord platform, where you will get a chance to meet with your fellow history enthusiasts. If you decide to join the website, you get a choice of 3 options. There is the $4.99 option, which gives you full access to the exclusive library, ad-free experience, and Discord access. There is the $9.99 option, which in addition gives you access to the exclusive podcasts. It also gives you a 5% shop discount and allows you to vote on what topics you would like to see be made into exclusive documentaries. Lastly, there is the $19.99 option, which in addition to the previous benefits, gives you 1 week access to new exclusives, a 10% shop discount, and even allows you to nominate AHTV exclusive topics. If you would like to begin this fantastic, thrilling, and sensational adventure and join the Armchair History TV community, you can do so at a discount price by using the custom discount code we provide in the description of this video. This code only lasts until the end of the year, so don't delay and join our train. We assure you that you are going to love the journey. Or, as Bill Murray would say,
For relaxing times, make it Suntory time.